Shalom. When the self souls by giving no praise to Yahweh, Bashem, Shah, Bashem, Kadash. Double honors to the apostles of great most and honors to you brothers doing the work of the most high in truth and in sincerity. Yahweh's real name of whom the world ignorant calls God, Jehovah or Yahweh. His real name is Yahweh. The son's true name is Yahweh Shai, and when we pray Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Birmingham in, Hamming, learn Sham, many names Yahweh and the name of Yahweh Shai. So wanted to had no choice, man. The nerve of these Edomites, the absolute nerve of these Edomites, man. To basically do a whole load of grandstanding, right? As if they aren't the problem in the world, right? This is and now I've got a love-hate relationship with Twitter. There's a lot on here, but there's a lot of a lot of shit on here too, right? But this is basically this geezer Arthur McWaters. It says in Lord of the Rings, hobbits in the Shire spent so long sheltered from evil that they don't even really believe it exists. The West is like the Shire, and it's just like, what are you talking about? Right? What are you talking about? The scriptures, describe this devil, man. Right? But this is it. This is one of the things that is gonna catch a whole load of people unawares, a whole load of our people unawares. Because when you look at a lot of the heathen, right, when you speak to the heathen, yeah, they may in quotes revere E, but a lot of them still remember their history with E, right? And by revered, these newer generation, especially the women, right? They will revere this Edomite, but you hear certain stories that certain people tell, and they have a history with this Edomite that they'll speak about. Okay, and more the Lord is putting that spirit back into the earth, right? In fact, I was going to go somewhere else, but just since I've said that, let's grab this. Habakkuk 2:16, thou art filled with shameful glory, right? Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of your Yahweh's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. Right, so shameful spewing is on Esau's glory. Everything that he's done and keeps doing, right, is being brought into the spotlight. Right, I ain't gonna click into all of this sort of stuff, right? But I'm sure the more when you basically get to people responding properly, because you get a lot of bots, right? You got a lot of bots and a lot of clickbait that happens on this site, right? But I'm pretty sure you're gonna have a lot of people in the comments being like, "Wait, there, look at your history." Right? And that is what is happening. More and more people are talking about Esau and his history, right? It says then you got here from Zach says Asmon Gold, which he's a very popular YouTuber if I'm not mistaken, right? It says deport the orcs from the Shire, right? And Moss says either that or the hobbits will get raped to death, and it's just like, who's actually done that? Is Esau, right? Scriptures, let's jump over to Psalms 140, right? So Psalms 140 from the top, it says, deliver me, O Yahweh, from the evil man, preserve me from the violent man, which imagine mischief in their heart. Continually are they gathered together for war. So this is E. Continually are they gathered together for war. Right? It's something like let me ask the robot. Since the inception of America, how many years without war? Right? So the AI overview, since its inception in 1776, the U.S. Has been at war for the vast majority of its history. Yeah, this devil has the, hey, I'm gonna use the word, Eve's favorite word, audacity, right? Then they've got the audacity to then claim that they are the no non-violent ones. It's like, no, so far from the truth. It is so far from the truth. Let me bring it. I'm just trying to bring it into this screen here, right? All right, so you see, since the inception of America, you see, which with estimates suggesting only about 15 to 20 years without any significant military conflict. Study indicates the U.S. has been involved in armed conflicts, including wars and smaller foreign intervention, for over 90% of its existence. Right? And in fact, we got what precept that's just come to mind, right? This is Ezekiel 35 and 5, right? It's the point that I want. Is what do you call it? In the next verse, but Ezekiel 35 and 5, because thou hast had the perpetual hatred, right? It's talking about Esau's behavior towards us, right? Esau has hated us, right? When you look into this word here, perpetual, it goes into of antiquity, basically from a long, long time, right? It says, and has shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord power, I'll prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. And this is the point that I wanted. Sif, thou hast not hated blood, and he loves to shed the blood of the children of Israel. So when you're seeing stuff like this, right, this is in preparation to once again shed the blood of the children of Israel. Okay? That's what it is, right? So as I read that again, Sif, thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Right? So this man, he don't mean nothing for him to spill blood. Love means nothing to him. Scripture says this. Once again, it says Yahushai talking, right, to wicked Israelites, right? But referencing ultimately, this devil eat. Right? So John 8:44, ye are of your father the devil, and the lusts of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh the lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a lie and the father of it. As we see, he was a murderer from the beginning. That's his spirit, right? In fact, was that Psalm 73? Yeah, Psalm 73. Yeah, this is Psalm 73, and I'll just jump to the point that I want. I'll read into it. Right? It says Psalm 73 from 3, for I was envious at the foolish when I saw this prosperity of the wicked, right? And these are the wicked. And you have a whole load of our people that didn't believe it, but they gonna see it real soon, right? It's not 1:4, Malachi 1:4. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts. They shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, right? The people against whom Yahweh hath indignation forever, right? Jump over also to Job 9:24, right? It says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, wherein who is he, right? So who's in rulership right now? It's these Edomites, okay? And who cover the face of the judges thereof? You talk about iconoclasm, right? This man has basically gone and erased the true Israelites from existence, right? They have said, let us cut them off from being a people, to the point that we say we're the Israelites, and people look at us like we've got 10 heads. Yeah, these Edomites, but I mean, it's one of the things I remember, you'd be reading about King David and his mighty men, and it's just like, right, they actually try and make it sound like they're related to King David, right, and his mighty men, right? This is Psalms 18 and 33, right? It says, he maketh my feet like hinds' feet. He setteth me up on my high places. He teacheth my hands to war, so that a bow of steel is broken in my arms, right? And that's it. The Lord was dealing with King David, man. Right? And it goes on. It's this chapter is good, right? It goes on, but that was just the point that came to mind. Yeah, they want you to believe that these Amalekites are descended from are related to King David. You ain't King David's people, man. Okay. So when it's going into cover of the face of judge thereof, it's going into that iconoclasm, right? And that last bit, where and who is he, is a bit of, being facetious, if you will. She's like, well, if it ain't this man, who is it? Okay. So like it. So let's get back here. Psalm 73 from 3. For I was envious of the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked, right? Because the Lord has, as we just read in Job 9:24, has allowed them to prosper. It says, for there are no bands in their death, but their strength is firm. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. Which even the thought that's coming to mind, right, is he's been able to, as a nation, as a people, he's been able to just like rewrite history, right? He's been able to rewrite history, and the worst thing is, a lot of this is very recent history. A lot of the madness that this Edomite has done is actually very recent history, not just to Jake, but also to all of these heathen nations. Yet he has the power. He's been given the power and the means to pretend like he didn't do any of it. Right? This is 2 Corinthians 11:14, and no marvel, for Satan himself was transformed into an angel of light. So this Edomite, once again, he's transformed himself into, what's the word? An elf, right? He's transformed himself into the elves. It's like, nah, you are the wicked, and all of our people, right, are gonna that don't adhere to the truth. They're gonna find that out the hard way. Right? A lot of our people, they look at this Edomite as if he's, rather they look at us like we're the ones in the wrong, right? Not understanding that no, this Edomite, he's gonna come for you too, right? Right, regardless of whether you join hand in hand, right? So this is Proverbs 11 and 21. It says, though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall be delivered, right? And just because of that something just came to mind as well. Let me get, what is that one? Since I think it's 35. This is 25. This is Sirach 25 and 7. There be 9 things which I have judged in my heart to be happy, and the 10th I will utter with my tongue. A man that hath joy of his children, and he that see the fall of his enemy. Okay? It'd be said that it just came to mind after reading the previous one, right? And that's one of the things when we see stuff like this, when we see these blatant lies, blatant propaganda, right? We're just like, look, man, we can't wait for the Lord to take this man down, right? so that he can be seen as the scum that he really is. Okay. So one of the things as well that I wanted to, because you hear the term, right, to pull the orcs from the shire, which, when I read it, I'm just like, man, he just, just say the N word, okay, just say the N word, because even then it's like, he has always painted this picture that Jake has no sexual self-control. Okay, original birth of a nation. He likes to use that idea of rape to basically what's the word I'm looking for? To basically propagandize people, right? That's what them Amalekites did, with them, after October 7th, right? And I believe there was even, but the information came out on that, but you know how it is with this devil, right? So I looked up real quick. Orcs, right? It says orcs were a race of humanoid creatures, right? So humanoid. What did they used to call Jake, right? 3/5 of a human, right? It says best known for their services as foot soldiers and slaves to the dark lords of Middle Earth, right? Even when not enthralled to an evil master, orcs rarely, if ever, had non-violent interactions, right? They're just violent, right? So basically, once again, just talking about Jake, right? Says they were known by many names by various people of Middle Earth. Okay, and I looked up also in the Urban Dictionary. It says orcs are a fictional race seen in many modern fantasy mediums, such as books and games, made of large, savage, and sometimes irredeemably evil humanoids. Right. So when I'm when I'm reading this, right, the thing that then came to mind was about Sanger and her quote on Undesirables, right? So this is Margaret Sanger, right, 1879 to 1966, the founder of the American Birth Control League, which later became Planned Parenthood, held views aligned with eugenics movement, which aimed to reduce the reproduction of those she considered unfit or undesirable. Right, she frequently advocated for the sterilization of individuals deemed feeble-minded, right, and believed in controlling the population growth of those considered mentally and physically defective, right, as if you're a humanoid, right, so to improve the racial betterment of society, eugenics and human weeds. In her writings, including Birth Control Review, Sanger promoted the idea of quality, not quantity, in human breeding. She referred to certain groups of people, particularly those with disabilities or in poverty, as human weeds, right? You see, now when they are does go down into here, because I'm reading this, I'm like, nah, bro, let's say what she was on, say what she was actually on. Okay. So it says in 39, it says the Negro Project, right? It says in 1939 she launched the Negro Project, a program aimed at bringing birth control to black communities in the South. While sometimes defended as an attempt to empower African American women, critics argue it was designed to limit the black population, with Sanger herself in a 1939 letter cautioning against the allowing the impression that she wanted to exterminate the Negro population, right? This is and an address to the KKK. Sanger notoriously documented speaking to women's branch of the KKK in New Jersey to promote birth control, an act that she later described as weird, right? So a lot of what do you call it? A lot of whitewashing of this history, but that's it. This is the spirit of these Edomites, right? They look at Jake as 3/5 of the human. They look at Jake as undesirable. Remember, Sanger said, let me see if it still comes up, because that's one of the things, through the spirit, right? When all of this, AI tools, AI overview, Chat GPT or whatever, right, started really, being pushed out. I was like, this is the ministry of truth. Okay, because it's talking all about, like, the mentally disabled and stuff like that, which that was certainly a plan, but really it's all about Jake, right? Because it's always been about Esau and Jacob. Okay, let's see if it comes up, man. Yeah, man, they're completely messing up with this internet, man. Yeah, you see it. Okay, finally, right? So it says, yeah, the phrase "we do not want word to go out that we want to exterminate the Negro population" comes from a 1939 letter written by Sanger, the founder of Planned Parenthood, regarding the Negro Project. The sentence is frequently cited in discussions about her views on race and the role of birth control in black communities, right? And then, do I even want to? I want to In fact, let's see what the scholars and defenders say. Generally interpret the sentence as a warning to avoid giving the wrong impression rather than a statement of intent to exterminate. So why was she at the KKK, right? So yeah, this AI is very much very much about rewriting truth. But let's just get some more precepts to close out. This is Revelation 6:4, right? It says, and there went out another horse that was red, right? Crimson comes to mind, right? Crime, right? Why caught red-handed, right? This devil, right? It says, and a red representing Edom, right? Esau is Edom. It says, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. And who has taken peace from the earth? Now, let's actually be real. What group of people have made news? All right. Now they'll speak about us because we're more intellectual. But what group of people made news? Right. This is Isaiah 9:5 says, "For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire." Right. And this is the things, like even the conventional weapons, as they call them, that Esau have, has are absolutely destructive. Okay, even the conventional ones are absolutely destructive. So then, like, the nuke on top of that is just overkill, right? But it was the spirit of the Lord that put it in this man to make those nukes. So Isaiah 54:16 says this, it says, behold, I have created the smith that blows the coals and the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. I have created the ways to destroy. So the Most High is ultimately the Most High's nukes. The apostles say it's ultimately the Most High's chip. Okay. So back in Revelation 6:4 says, and there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword, and that sword once again is going into that nuke, right? But they've got other swords, other weaponry, which is just it's just destructive, right? You look at some of the pictures of Gaza, right? Once again, those are just conventional weapons. Yet these devils want to walk around and parade around like they're the, you know, that they're the saints. Like, you ain't the saints. You're the devil. Okay, and the Lord is gonna allow Esau to show that he's the devil, because that's ultimately what all of this is. He's trying to this plan, Elon, right? Is he's all about raising these views so that these Edomites feel comfortable in basically being loud about how they really feel, right? This is Psalm 17:13, right? It says, arise, O Yahweh, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword, right? So the Lord is going to let Esau swing that sword. In fact, let's end on this one. This is Ezekiel 21 from verse 9. It says, son of man, prophesy and say, thus saith Yahweh, say, a sword is sharpened and also furbished. It is sharpened to make a sore slaughter. It is furbished that it may glitter. Should we then make mirth? A contempt of the rod of my son is every tree, and he hath given it to be furbished, that it may be handled. The sword is sharpened, and it is furbished, to give it into the hand of the slayer. Right? Now Esau is that slayer, man. He gonna slay. And a lot of our people gonna be slain, man. Right? So as always, Lord's will, that was edifying. Till next time we say shalom.